Welcome everybody, this is Eric here with Investor Central Club on Monday, April the 7th. It's about 2 p.m. on the West Coast. We just had market close an hour ago, and I've put together this month's back testing for our STAX AI, so I wanted to go over that with you guys today. Just to start off, we had a fun little meme that was put together by one of our users in our Discord, showing, again, the markets have been bleeding quite a little bit right now. What you'll see, right, is that the last few days we've had consecutive down days, dropping the markets quite a bit. And from the highs that we had earlier in this year, we are now looking at what's considered a bear market, down 20% from the tops for SPY. This is the SPY futures that you see right here. But we did have a little bit of a rebound from the lows here. What you'll actually notice is what I've marked here is we are testing those January 2022 highs. So we'll see what the rest of the week has in store for us. I do not believe that our news for the tariffs is completely over. There was actually as well earlier today, we saw a massive spike here during market hours where apparently $4 trillion suddenly flooded back into the market off of some fake news. It was apparently tweeted that the White House was said that President Trump was considering putting a 90-day pause on tariffs. So we saw this massive rebound, found out that it happened to be false, so that we've retraced back down quite a little bit, and we're just kind of chopping around for today. See what the rest of the week has in store for us. But as we always do, let's go into our STAX software and get an idea of what's been going on over the course of the last month. So what we always do, we go into our STAX AI. I'm gonna take off the rest of these so we have a little bit more room to take a look at. And you'll actually notice last week, at the end of last week, we started to get some heavy, very unusual buying in certain names, quite a few $1 million being spent. These ones I will not have back tested just yet. They just came in, but I did want to share that with you guys for those that are only watching us on our YouTube or on social media. They've been buying BABA, IWM, United Airlines, Applied Materials, Tesla, Coinbase, AMD, HNRG, this one's the new one that came in today, and Unity Software. But we're going to go into our prints for the month of March. We have approximately 21 prints to go over, and let's get into it. So this was exported on the 1st of this month of April, so just last week. And you'll see here actually from our spot prices, and actually I can update this. I updated this on Friday, from Friday, but you'll notice just about all of these positions are currently down. But just because they're down today doesn't mean that they might not have had some recent highs or current highs that we can test out to see. So you'll see out of our 21 prints that we had from last month, we actually have 17 of them that showed profits at some point or another. And there are a few, like for example, the silver one hasn't really quite gone anywhere, but you can see that they're getting themselves ready for the upcoming year, and actually a few of these, such as this Apple position, is getting ready for even the end of 2027. I do want to put a little footnote in here for you guys though. I've highlighted these with a 2, meaning that they got in and then the price had a spike or had the highs within a day or two right after they got in. So those ones I want you to take with a grain of salt for now, because they are currently very likely going to be down, and down quite, kind of heavily at this point. We do have to see how the market corrects if we see some sort of additional news that puts us into some sort of recovery. So overall, what we have is a 80.95% hit rate, win rate in terms of these. On average, about right under a 20% return for those. couple of the bigger hitters, we have this Tesla print. After Tesla retraced a bit, it did rebound a little. They got into the 900 strikes for middle of next year, 2026. But those ones at the highest saw about a 65% return, which was the highest one that we saw from last month. In addition, from the month before, the month of February, this LW Lamb Weston, which is a potato company, they supply the potatoes for McDonald's actually, did have some great earnings, a double beat that put this miss into a win. That is one of the ones that has changed since last month. 73% for those highs when you consider it. TLT, Palantir, those are ones that have changed a little bit. This Palantir one did not turn from a miss to a win just yet, but it did come back a little bit higher as a rebound. The back testing for previous months, not quite as many as we usually do in terms of stocks that have gone higher. As you can see, the market itself is quite a bit down, especially compared to where some of these maybe have gotten in over the course of the last 3 or 4 months. That was basically the current top that we see. But again, there are still some pretty awesome returns. For example, this BABA print over here, taken out for April, but they got in January before the big run up. That one's looking at about a 3,300%, almost 3,400% return. So for every dollar they put in, which they did put in about $1, they're getting back about an extra $3,400, so $3,400. Quite a big win in that one, as you may see. It does bring our hit rate for last month, or for the month of January, month of February was the one that went a little bit higher, now at a 68%, with an average of 33.88% return. These other ones, we have quite a few where we had some pretty good returns, quite a bit of high win rates. And you can see as I scroll down here, there's not much other blue updates. That's usually what I use to show that things have gone higher. But now we're looking at 328 total prints, 297 of those giving it a 90% win rate. 297 of those have gone higher than, or have highs that consider them a win. I've already posted this in our Discord. It's also in the Discord link in our STAX chat as well for the STAX support, so you guys can go ahead and see that there. All the ones in green or the bright green on the left showing us about 80% return or higher. So for example, this one 4 out of 5. But here March, let's go ahead and just update that into a bright green. And overall, 224% average returns over the course and the lifetime of us running STAX AI. I did get a user in our Discord asking, well, Eric, I understand there are certain ones in here that maybe are only 5 or 10% returns. What can we do in order to get that data so we understand what truly is a win? Because for a lot of us, we may be in STAX AI positions expecting to get a little bit more, so we might even consider 10% to only be actually be a miss, to be a loss in a lot of cases. So what we have here is our overall numbers. For over 10%, we've got 277 of them, so 84% of our STAX AI callouts get at least 10% return. And you can see 25%, we got a 73% hit rate. Over 50%, we have 54% of our callouts get over 50. Full 100% return or higher, that's a 43% of our 327 or 328 prints. Let me double check that. Yeah, 328. So you can see we've got a pretty high hit rate, pretty high returns as well. And you can see I've got all the numbers from all of our previous back testings shown as well. Average return back then when we first started out was fairly, not low, 87% for any sort of investment would be considered enormous and great. But as you can see, as time's gone on, our overall average wins and overall average returns have gone up quite a bit. Over here, some interesting numbers. 4 of our STAX AI prints have returned over 2,000%, so that's a 20x plus return. Obviously, it's a very small percentage, only 1.2% of our total prints. But you can even take a look, say, over 1,000%, we've got 14 of those. Over 500%, about 10% or 11% of our total prints show that type of return. So that's what I wanted to show you guys for today. STAX AI, we stand by this. We do our back testing every single month to show you guys how powerful of a tool this happens to be. If you do have any questions, we're always available, help@investorcentralclub.com. If you have questions about how to join, how to enroll or subscribe to our Discord or to the STAX software, the links are provided below, but if you do have any questions about how to get going, please don't hesitate and let us know. I will also be including we have a newsletter that you guys can subscribe to that has a lot of good content, got a lot of previous back tests and previous content that you guys can take a look over. You can subscribe with the link that we're going to provide in the description below. With that being said, this is Eric here with Investor Central Club, STAX AI software. Always happy to do this for you guys on a month-to-month basis. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.